Greetings. Welcome to In Conversation with Trevor, brought to you by Heart and Soul Broadcasting Services. I go beyond the headlines and beyond the sensational. Today I'm in conversation with Precious Pazani, a teacher, rugby referee, and sports coach. If you enjoy this conversation, remember to subscribe, to like, and to share. Precious Pazani, welcome to In Conversation with Trevor.
Thank you, Trevor. Thank you for having me.
Fantastic. Precious, you are considered a trailblazer. You're actually a trailblazer. You have broken the ceiling, I think, the glass ceiling. You've broken the glass ceiling. You have been a first in a number of places in Zimbabwe and on the continent when it comes to rugby and refereeing the sports of rugby. How does that feel? Do you feel the weight of breaking the glass ceiling, the burden of being the first?
It's not exactly a burden per se. Yes, you have people looking at you and they're like, she's representing us and everything. But for me, it's also like a very good moment. Like, I'm achieving all these things. Like, when I look back from when I started and I'm now getting to where ticking some of the boxes that I said I would want to achieve, and now I'm doing it. I look back and I'm really happy, and I'm like, this is good. I'm like proud of myself. Yeah.
And we're going to get to the boxes that you're ticking and where you started, because that's all very important. But you've got one burning ambition, which, as I was reading and researching, seems to be very important to you, which is to become the first Zimbabwean rugby referee at the Rugby World Cup.
Yes.
Why is that so important?
Well, I feel like the World Cup is the greatest event, the greatest event that you have in any sport. So when you get to officiate at a World Cup, it's a world thing, a world event. A lot of people are watching, you're involved in it. For me, it's the involvement, the different people that you get to meet there. It's just an amazing scene to be part of. So yeah, for me, being part of the World Cup and having done that, when you look back, even teams, when they're playing, they want to qualify and make it to the World Cup. And then me having played and then gone and then chose a different route to try and get to the World Cup and then finally getting there would be like an amazing
Does
thing.
it not frighten you? Stage fright? It's huge.
It is huge. It is. But I guess the more you do it, the calmer you get. I guess if you get to be like the first one reffing the opening match of the World Cup, that's very huge. But then if you're just then involved later on, it gets to calm you and you're calm and you're in it. So yeah, it may frighten a little bit, but I'm sure as it goes, you realize I can do this. I'm here. So this is my moment.
What do you need to do for it to happen? Are there any milestones? Are there any things that you need to do for this to happen?
So at the moment, because we are part of Women's World Rugby panel, so there are games that go on as well. There are appointments that you get games. Your performance is also what gets you there. The more you perform, the better you perform. The more likely you are to actually get to be part of the World Rugby Cup.
Mm-hmm.
And well, fortunately for the other guys, I feel like it's quite easy for them because they already ref at that level with the games of that level.
Mm-hmm.
You've got people in South Africa, in Australia, and in England. So they already have these top rugby games. New Zealand, you name it, they have top rugby games. And these are the top teams that are normally seen at the World Cup. So for them, they already have, like, they're already reffing at that level.
Mm.
And for people like me and other guys that are coming from smaller unions, we have to, like, step up a little bit more. Maybe at some point in time get involved in games of that kind of caliber. And when you get there, if you perform, you actually didn't stand a chance of actually getting forward. Yes.
You spoke about ticking boxes.
Yes.
What boxes do you are there out for you right now? And you're like, I want to tick these boxes.
So at the moment, it's like we spoke about the World Cup. Just I know it's a big ask, especially with our nation, with a lot going on, but just being a professional referee, it will be nice to know you're just focusing on that and you are literally putting all your energies in that, specializing in that. And also, I was part of the World Cup sevens. It could still be a chance, could not, but now my hopes World Cup 15s, but 7s still would be nice. Just taking center stage is always a good thing. Yeah.
There's a box that you ticked, which is that you and Kat Roche, an American, were the first female officials to referee at the World Rugby Cup under 20.
Yes.
How did that feel?
It was good. It was the Junior World Trophy.
Yeah.
I was excited because my first involvement.
Where was the tournament?
It was in Kenya.
It was
Nairobi,
in Kenya,
yes.
right?
So my first involvement with something under World Rugby was actually Junior World Trophy when we hosted in 2016.
Right.
And I was just officiating as at the table. I was technical zone. And when I was looking at the other guys, I was like, this would be nice to actually be one of the referees and be part of it. And there was last year I got involved in it and being nominated for that. And I looked back and I was like, wow, I've come a long way and I've actually managed to be part of this. For me, it was a very good moment. And I look back and I'm like, even if the other girls back at home want to achieve this is something that they would look forward to. Like Precious managed to start off in 2016 just doing technical for Junior World Trophy, and now she's actually reffing at Junior World Trophy. So also showed me the amount of patience that I put into it to just be patient, keep working, and until I got there. So it was a very good moment for Kat and I. We looked back and we're like, wow, Kat, we were actually here. Yeah.
And you spoke about where it all started.
Yes.
Where did it all start? This passion.
So I've always been an athletic person. Sport has always been a thing for me. I love playing sports. So even sometimes you may even find me playing soccer with the boys just so I can stay active and everything. So I started off playing basketball. So when I was playing club basketball, the ladies that I was playing club basketball with from Varsity Leopards decided to play rugby. And when I discovered that they went off to play rugby and I'd always been passionate, I was quite kind of heartbroken. I'm like, you guys went without me?
Yeah.
And then they were like, no, don't worry about it. You're writing your A's this year, or next year when you're done, you can come through and you can join us because you're underage. Just let it go for now. You're under 18.
How old were you?
I was 18.
18 years.
Yes.
Yeah.
So they were like, no, just wait for it when you're done with your exams, and next year join the team. And I definitely went out there and I joined the team. So at that point in time, I was playing rugby and I was playing basketball at the same time. So off-season rugby, I was playing basketball. Off-season basketball, I was playing rugby. And then as time went by, I picked up an injury as I was playing. And I had to go for surgery. And then after that, I had also, in 2014, I was still playing, but I then also decided in one game, but I could ref. It looks like it's something that I can do. You're running, you're everything. I could ref. So I then decided to take up the path of reffing. I asked my friend Abigail Kawanza, what does it take for me to get involved and be a ref? He's like, nothing. You just come to Monday meetings at Prince Edward every 5:30, on Monday every 5:30, and then you can be part of the society. And from then, that following Monday, I went, and that's when it all started. And from there, I just started going forward.
So the injury, in a way, played a role in directing you towards refereeing. Let's talk about that injury. What happened?
So I was playing a match and then I ruptured my ACL and tore my meniscus at the same time. So they managed to fix my meniscus. At that time, we didn't have the technology to manage to fix an ACL with an arthroscopy. So the doctor said we only managed to fix the meniscus. So I still had that injury from like 2012 until 2015. So it kept giving me grief. And every time I played, you're thinking, now I'm in a good moment, I'm in a good space. You run, and then the next thing, knee pops out, pops back in, and you're out for 2 weeks. So that also got boring, and I got tired of it. So after surgery...
Boring or painful?
It was painful. Not the leg that was painful, but then having to sit out and the recurrence of the injury, it really got painful.
Yeah,
yes.
It did.
So when I got surgery done, and the rehab of the surgery, when I looked at it, I'm like, do I want to go back and play? Or maybe I should just stick to reffing. And even at that time, Rugby Africa had put forward a couple of us to go to South Africa at Marty's at Stellenbosch. There's a referees academy there. And they put us forward, and they call it speeding up. I'm forgetting the word. Just to push us forward so that we can learn quicker, learn a lot more in a short space of time. So they did that. So I'd already gone through that process, and I was thinking, you know what, maybe I should just stick to the line of reffing. Less worries of injuries. I don't know if I want to go through the whole process of picking up injuries and then having to go through surgery. So maybe I should just stick to reffing.
But there you are.
Yes.
Because of that accident, you were now in this trajectory. Talk to me about that in terms of the choices that you had to make because of that injury.
Because of that injury, I feel like I made a better choice now. I feel like I made a better choice.
Fascinating, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, yeah. It was then directed in a different way. God's like, no, okay, you can play for a while. I don't see you stopping playing anytime soon. So let's find something to deviate. And from there...
Talk to me about the choice between basketball, because you played quite a long time basketball, and then you're playing rugby. Which one did you enjoy most? If you had to make up a choice, which would you go for? Which would you have gone for?
Rugby.
Rugby. Okay.
I did play basketball for a long time, but I felt like for us, like we had a lot of work to put in. Even still in rugby, like there was a lot of work to put in, but I found it like an easier sport. It was an easier sport, and as much as there's contact and everything, I found it an easier sport because there's a position for everyone. If you're one of those guys that just like to bash people, there's a position for you. If they are one of those people that just like to run,
there's a position for you.
Yeah, so literally there's a position for everyone. If you like to create play for other people so that they can go score, there's a position for you. So I found rugby quite easy. So I would have chosen rugby. Basketball, I enjoyed it, but me playing rugby actually made me playing basketball easier. If I found it easier now after playing rugby to play basketball. Some games I would go terrified, like, we're going to go play that team. But after playing rugby, I was never scared.
Wow. Why? Why? Talk to me about that.
I don't know what changed. I guess in rugby, there's contact, and you're actually, for someone to stop you, they have to tackle you and bring you down. And sometimes some of the tackles are hard. But in basketball, it's a no contact sport, they say. Yeah. But there is contact, but no one's going to tackle you. So what's the worst that can happen? So I then found it an easier sport, like there's no contact. The most that the person can do is just stay in front of you and try to stop you from going to the hoop. But that's it.
Tell me about the interest that you had towards sport. Or maybe before we go there, let's take a break. And when we come back from the break, I want us to go into where you were born and what influenced you to go towards sport. So for those at home, join us after the break. Don't go away.
Like I said, I understand why there's that stigma that there's no sport, there's no money in sport and people don't want to do it.
Welcome back to our conversation with Precious Pazani, teacher, sports coach, and rugby referee. So, when you decided, you make it sound easy that you decide you got hurt, and then your career took a different trajectory altogether, and then you decided you're going to go refereeing.
Mm-hmm.
But what did you need to do? Because the last time Mudiwa Mdawarara was here, was passionate about rugby. He's a referee. Also spoke about complicated laws, rules, and regulations. Surely you couldn't just walk onto the pitch without having studied these rules and regulations. Talk to me about what you had to go through to become a referee.
So yeah, like he mentioned, there are a lot of laws to learn. So there's actually like a law book that you have to read. Because I was passionate, when I looked at it, I was like, oh, I can read this. And having read a lot of novels along the way, I realized, okay, this is different from having a nice story that has a good ending at the end. But this could be also a nice story for me to read, which will give me a good ending. Like when I'm on the park, it gives me that confidence because I know what I'm doing, I know what I've read, and I can always apply it come when I'm on the park. So it took reading the law book, like even up until now, because there are a lot of laws you gotta keep reading to reinforce and everything. I read my law book because I was already active in sport and everything. Getting fit wasn't a problem. It was quite easy for me. I got involved. I managed to attend my level 1 reffing, and then after that, I then managed to attend my level 2 in match officiating.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think in 2019, that's when I then got my level 3 match officiating. Yes.
So are you done now?
So
or
yeah,
do you
that's
need,
the highest.
That's the highest.
Yes,
That's it.
For now, that's the highest that you can.
So what you now need to do is to get more games.
So now it's just about getting experience, more game time. The more games you have under your belt, the more experience you have, the better you become at it. Yes.
So let's go to where it all started. I mean, we did touch on that, but where were you born? And which school did you go to?
I was born here in Harare, and then I went to a primary school called Admiral Tate in Eastleigh, and then I went to high school at Roosevelt Girls High in Eastleigh as well. Yes.
And when did you start thinking sports is what I want to do?
For me, it was always, even when we were kids, we used to play small little games. You play around the world, country games, Raka, Wishu, and those games, Naflawi, it all involved running and having to be active. For me, that's when I was the most active. I enjoyed myself, and I found myself like really enjoying those games. Like I wouldn't want to just sit in the house, and that's the only time you'd actually get me out of the house to say, okay, let me leave my book. I think people are playing outside. Let me go and run. So for me, that has always been part of me. So even in primary school, when we do the little egg races, sack races,
you were up there.
Yeah, I was up there doing the most. And in primary school, I used to sprint, used to look forward to athletic season. My one race, 100 meters, and the relays, everything. Coach tried to get me to run 4x100, 4x4, and 400s. I was like, no, it's not my thing. But yeah, I was constantly involved. So it was in primary school that I actually then decided to play basketball. So my mom and my brother were quite keen on me playing tennis. It never came to me. Like I feel even up until now, any sport.
Were they tennis players themselves?
Not really. My mom, when she said she used to play netball back in the days.
Yeah.
Yes. And my brother tried baseball when he was at Churchill. I don't know how far he then went with that. But then I never found myself quite steady with holding something when playing sport. If you put me anywhere and it's just me featuring and coming forth to play the sport.
That's what you're good at.
I am very good at. I will strive to do my best.
Right.
Yes.
And you also you are a teacher, isn't it?
Yes, I am a teacher at
Lomagundi College.
Yes.
And the passion for teaching, where did you train?
To be fair, it wasn't the passion for teaching. I started off as coaching. For me, I was like, you know what? I think I can just coach. So I started off coaching, and you know how it is sometimes when you're in the system, they now want to also see you picking up other roles as well. So I actually studied human resources management in college. It didn't quite go well. Jobs were hard to come by. Every now and again, you look
Which
for a
college
job.
was this?
At Harare Polytechnic.
Harare Polytechnic.
Yes, yes. So every time you find an advert, it's asking for 5 years experience. I'm like, oh my goodness, are we ever going to get jobs here? So I decided, you know what, let me also, since I can coach, let me also try and find something in coaching. Lomagundi College offered me an opportunity. I started coaching at Lomagundi, and then from there, they then said, you know what, we're needing someone to assist with some classes. So I assist with food and nutrition and L2 Shona. So they're like, you know what, if you actually didn't like the teaching, you can always then take it up as your career if you didn't choose. And from there, I actually didn't like it. And then I took it up and went forward with the teaching.
So what are you teaching apart from sport?
So I teach food and nutrition.
Yeah.
And I teach L2 Shona.
Do you enjoy it?
I enjoy it, especially the L2 Shona. I never thought I would actually enjoy teaching Shona. Like in primary school, all through high school, I did enjoy languages, but I never thought I would enjoy teaching the language. I was quite passionate about biology and everything, but I never thought I would find myself teaching L2 Shona. So yeah.
There you are.
There I am.
Doing it and enjoying it.
Yes.
Fantastic.
Yes.
Let's go to, there is a stigma in our society around, can you make a living through sports? And there's a tendency for our society to look down upon sports people. Have you come across that? And what's your response to that?
Yeah, I've come across a lot. For me, I don't mind doing the sport. I know, I understand where they're coming from with the stigma, because only a few people will make it out of sport. But for me, I've seen it as something that has given me opportunity. If I hadn't played sport, I wouldn't have worked at Lomagundi College, because sport then gave me the opportunities for me to go and coach. Then from there, that's when I then rose through. It's hard for me. I don't mind being part of sport. It's who I am. It's what makes me. I can't be just focused on just the one side of life where you're going to work and then that's it. It keeps me active. I stay healthy. For me, having reason and gone through with sport, now that I'm part of World Rugby referees, I travel. I get to see different countries, different worlds, how different cultures, see how people do their things and everything. In as much as there isn't a lot of money involved in it, but there is also a lot that I get to experience out of it. I get to have my mind changed, recalibrated to view things differently in certain aspects. And like I said, I understand why there's that stigma that there's no sport, there's no money in sport and people don't want to do it. But there are a lot of opportunities and you never know where your opportunity might lead you to. I've seen people that are doctors. I'm sure you know Dr. Tafuma Parenyatwa.
Yes.
He is a doctor, but he'll be there at rugby. He's assisting in sport. So people just then view sport as just playing it as well, but it also has different facets. Some people can actually make a living out of it, being a manager, a coach, a doctor, a physio, and things like that. It's hard for us, especially here in our country, because of the economy doesn't quite support our sporting activities. But in other nations, it's a way of life. You can actually find a good living. So yeah,
absolutely. What would you? I mean, you have done well, exceedingly well.
Yes.
You're breaking the glass ceiling, like we've said. What would you say to a young girl out in Mbare, out in Makokoba, looking at you, and they've got the same ambition that you have? They want to be a referee one day. They want to travel the world and see the world. What encouragement would you give to them?
I'll tell them to do it. Especially if they're passionate about it. When you're passionate about something, it's very easy for you to do what is required of you to meet the standards for you to make it through to the next level. So if they want to do it, they should go ahead. It's worth a shot. You never know where you might land. When I started off riffing, I just said, I'm just going to see where this takes me. And now I'm traveling the world, and that's where it has taken me. And it's a good moment. Like, you then also get to inspire other people. So if they want to take up sport, they should take up sport. If they want to be referees, they should come take up referee, be passionate about it, put in the work. Everything. I am a firm believer that at the end of the day, hard work pays. If you've put in the work, it will pay you off. And I've seen a lot of people that have actually benefited from playing the sport of it. So if they want to do it, I feel like they should do it and put their best foot forward.
Fantastic.
Yes.
And what do you think explains your success?
I don't know. For me, I would say my mom always backing me, and her prayers that ngari kumpere mwanangu abudire mune zvanoita munoziva shuwa zvomoyo wake, things like that. I would say also that when your mother is praying for you, you know, behind your back and everything, and wishing you success. For me, I feel like that's also part of it, and also my desire of wanting to do well. Like, let me put my best foot forward and see what comes out of it. If I put my best foot forward and it doesn't work out, well, it's okay. But I did the best I could. But I always try to put my best foot forward, try to see where I can learning from other people, and learning even from the moments when I fail. Like, okay, I failed in this regard. Where exactly did I fail? And picking myself up from where I failed from to actually try and fix where I failed and try to move on with it.
Which failure has taught you the most?
So the last Women's World Cup, I actually had an opportunity to...
Where was that?
It was in New Zealand.
Okay.
So I actually was part of the people that were up for selection. Unfortunately, at that time, there was a fitness level that had to be met. And I wasn't quite there as well. And I'd just come from a Bathurst Trophy tournament in Kenya, and I had torn my meniscus again. So that meant I had to stop running.
This meniscus is misbehaving, man.
Giving me grief. It's been giving me grief. But so my fitness levels weren't there, and that was one of the contributing factors. So I then realized, you know what, it's okay. I missed this one.
How did you take it? Was it painful?
It
did
was.
You cry?
It was.
Did you cry?
Yeah, I did. I did. Because it's a nice opportunity. It's a nice moment. It's something that I've always been yearning for. And I was quite close, and then I missed the opportunity. So that was one of the reasons why. And I learned from it, though. I told myself,
what did you learn?
It's my duty to take care of my body so that it can last, especially with the activity that I do. So instead of just going to the gym, and maybe when I go to the gym, do a lot of exercises that help protect my body from picking up injuries. So it became a thing for me. I would look for every other video that I could to try and see, okay, so this, if you do this, it helps you from not picking up such injuries, no knee injuries. It helps you with this. So it didn't help me do that. And it then taught me, like, I then sorted out my fitness. I'm like, you know what? It shouldn't be a thing. It's something that I can fix. So let me fix it. So where things I can fix, I managed to fix.
What are your fitness levels right now?
For now, my best time from the last time I ran a Bronco was 5:10. And I was quite impressed with it. Yeah.
What's your fitness regime like? Your routine? What do you do on a daily basis?
So I train Mondays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays. So I'll wake up in the morning.
What time?
Around 4:45, 5 thereabouts. I'll go to the gym. And then in the afternoon, after I'm done coaching,
what do you do in the gym? What do you do?
So I focus mainly on working on my legs, so that, because I realize that they do a lot of running, so we need to keep them in top shape.
Yeah.
So I focus a lot on my legs and a bit of core and my back to just keep them nice and strong, so that when I'm running, I'm in a good position and they're supporting me. And then I'll go to work, and then after coaching in the afternoon, like at 5. I then have my running sessions. So then I have my field sessions, I run. And then the next day, it's the same thing. I do gym, and then the loads will get lighter as the week is progressing. and depending on also how I'm feeling. So if I'm feeling a bit woozy on a Monday, I'll just tone it down a little bit and then go heavy on a day when I'm feeling quite nice, which will be most probably on a Tuesday. And then Thursday, going towards match day, I'm looking more towards just getting my muscles ready for that, a lot of movement that with light weights, and then I get to a couple of sprints in the afternoon after coaching.
Yeah. Any ritual before the game itself? Any routine?
Not really, but I like to just, like a day before the game, I don't like to do a lot of things. I would rather just relax, watch TV, watch anything else. I can watch a rugby game, but then at some point in time, I just want to clear my head and just be clear of anything else and then focus on the game that's coming the next day. And then come game day, I'll just have my music as I'm getting ready, play my music.
What do you play?
Well, it depends with what song I'm feeling at that moment. I listen to any genre except for jazz. Quite good.
So what do you listen to? A couple of songs that you listen to?
I'll listen to Ja Praiser. I'll listen to Winky D. I'll listen to Beyonce. I'll listen to whoever, like any other song that's maybe topping at that moment, and we're all enjoying.
And what does it do to you?
It just makes me relax. Okay. I just need to be in a nice, relaxed moment, and that's all I need. Yeah.
And the spectators,
yes,
can be tough.
They can.
They're ignorant. They haven't read the rules, but we think we know everything about the game. So talk to me about the criticism that comes after a match, and how you deal with that. What's been the most hurtful criticism that you've had to deal with?
For me, it was just when I just started, and this guy just went off at me. He was shouting. He's like,
in person,
and I'm like, this little me just started, and I'm like, oh my goodness, I really got this one bad. Like, wow. I don't know if I want to come back.
What was he saying to you?
He was like, oh no. So I was reffing like high school games, and one of the team had a lot of white kids more than the other one. And then the guy who was my coach at that moment, because as referees, we also have coaches, was also white. And he was like, oh, because you listen to white people and he's telling you what to do. He came to me and he said to me, I don't think the game is safe for the kids to be playing anymore, because the other team was now getting malicious and they were trying to injure the other guys. So he's like, I think you can stop it. This is what you can also do as a referee. If you feel that the players are now not playing in good faith and the spirit of the sport, you can end it, because they're now fighting each other or hitting each other, or giving each other some hidden blows and everything. You can call the game and term them, we're done, let's all go home. So he then said that, because he had seen a couple of things that I hadn't picked up with that were happening behind my back. He's like, no, Precious. And besides, the score had also gone by a large margin. So he's like, no, Precious, just end the game. There's nothing wrong with it. And then I ended the game. And this guy came at me. He's like, and you're letting off a lot of things. And now this white man comes and he's telling you what to do. Listen to white people. And he just went on. And I'm like, oh my goodness.
What did that do to you?
At that moment, I thought maybe I shouldn't ref. Maybe I should just let it go.
Stop it altogether.
Yeah, just let it go. Go back and play basketball or something like that. And just, that's the best way I can stay active. But then after a couple of days, I got over it. And I'm like, maybe I can do something to try to fix it. That if maybe the things that he said I missed, if I actually go and correct, maybe I genuinely did miss things. So maybe if I fixed it, it could also help calm the spectators and things like that. So yeah, so I didn't go back the next weekend.
Now that was a school game, isn't it?
Yeah, it was.
What about at this world stage where you are?
At world stage, so fortunately, some of the games that I've reffed haven't had a very huge crowd that I've been center referee.
Yeah.
But I've been assistant referee to a stadium packed with thousands of people, and I know in France, that was like my first time seeing so many people coming to support a women's game. I'm like, oh my goodness, all these people. And the French are quite passionate supporters. And if a call goes in a different way and they don't like it, they'll be like, boo. And you can hear all of them.
And what does that do to you?
So for me, if you know the call is right, yeah, it's just like, there they go again. These spectators, just stay calm. I feel like when you know the call is right, it helps you to stay calm because you know, like, I'm right. They don't know what they're doing. Let me just stay. But
does it not affect the next call that you're going to make? If they're going to boo in a big way,
it becomes a tricky one. If it's a 50-50 call and you're thinking, maybe I could have gone the other way. But also we've been taught to also be wary of that sometimes you have a 50-50 call that should have gone the other way. So the spectators will jeer and everything. Just stay calm and worry about the next job. Doesn't matter now. You need to make sure just get the next call and do what you're supposed to do. Just get the next call right.
Fantastic. Yes. We'll take another break. When we come back, Precious, you've received quite a number of awards. I want us to go there and look at some of those awards that you've received. But also, from what you're saying, I think there's a lot of lessons that sports has taught you about life. And I want us to go there. So at home, please don't go away. Join us after the break.
Sometimes just be in it and enjoy the moment. Like, if you win, then it's a plus.
Greetings. My name is Trevor Ncube, host of In Conversation with Trevor, Zimbabwe's most engaging conversational show. I go beyond the headlines and beyond the sensational. We've brought before your screens change makers from arts, business, and politics, and from the region. Please join our growing community of viewers. Subscribe, like, and share. Welcome back to our conversation with Precious Pazani, teacher, sports coach, and rugby referee. So before we took the break, you were talking about that you as referees have your own coaches. What's the most important thing that one must have to be a successful ref? What mindset should one have to be a successful ref?
Well, you need to be a calm ref because sometimes those players really try you on the park. And you, like I was saying, you also have the spectators and sometimes you even have coaches shouting. So you need to be calm and you need to be focused, especially when you're on the park. You need to be focused on what you're doing. Like, let's get this job done and then we'll worry about the rest after that. So yeah, you need that mind and a quick one going because sometimes you've got some things that happen and you need to make a decision fast. So you need to be
Have you made decisions that have stayed with you? Have you made a call that has stayed with you and it was a wrong call and it's haunted you?
Not really. Yeah, as referees we do make mistakes. But I don't feel like I've ever made mistakes that still haunt me. Some of them I just look back and I'm like, oh, okay, I made a mistake there. Maybe I need to fix it so that it doesn't happen again. Yeah, but otherwise, I can't say that I really had a mistake that came back to me.
What's been the most memorable match that you've refereed that has left an indelible mark on you?
My most memorable was when I went to South Africa to ref my first test match against South Africa versus Spain.
South Africa versus Spain.
South Africa versus Spain women.
You were the ref.
I was the ref. And
you go, gal. Like, you go, gal.
This is me. This is me. I'm actually reffing World Rugby. Like, this is the game appointed by World Rugby. I was so excited, so happy about it. And
not anxious?
I try to keep like nerves away from it. I don't want to be anxious. I just want to be calm. Because when I'm calm...
How do you do that?
So I just try not to be moved by a lot of things. So even if things were to go sideways and people are like, oh no, we're getting to the game late. I'm like, it's okay. We're getting there. It's going to be late, but we're getting there.
Yeah.
So I try to remove other things that are not really necessary so that I stay calm and stay within the game zone. Like, okay, it doesn't matter.
So it was memorable. Yes, talk to me about that. Why was it, apart from the fact that it was the first one?
And it was for me just because it was the first, and
Yeah.
I'd been looking forward to getting an opportunity, and I'd gotten one.
Mm.
And this was also a town that I quite liked in South Africa, Port Elizabeth. I'd always gone there to watch rugby games, like when they used to have the HSBC Sevens going on there.
Right.
So I quite liked it.
Mm.
And then when I was back there, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm back here now in a different role. I'm the ref. I'm the guy, the person that they're going to be like, no, she's the one who's reffing the game today. So yeah, that was quite nice. And I felt like that was a good match for me. It was a very good learning moment as well. And I loved it. Yes.
You've received quite a number of awards. Which ones mean the most to you and why?
So I've managed to receive Harare Province Referee of the Year and Zimbabwe Rugby Referees Society Referee of the Year. For me, the Zimbabwe Referees one kind of resonates because it's like I've managed to do well in the country. But the first year I got it was the best because I was like, wow, I've actually been recognized to this point. I've done so well to now getting recognized, because back in the days, I was still getting most improved referee or rookie referee of the year and things like that, and would see the other guys that would get referee of the year, and I would applaud them like, oh yeah, I know this guy is doing a very good job. And when I got it the first year, and I was so happy with myself. I'm like, I've managed to grow as a referee, and I'm happy. And I'm happy that also my efforts have been recognized, and it means I'm leading in the right direction. And I just need to keep working. And also in a way, I was like, okay, now that we've gotten it, we gotta keep working. Yes.
You obviously work hard, like we said. You practice, you train quite a lot. What's your support structure like? I mean, you speak about your mom and her prayers.
Yes.
Who has anybody spoken into your life? Has anybody been as supportive? Are there any people that have been with you all along in this journey?
So I'll also give credit to Abigail Kawanza, because she actually has been with me in the journey as well. From the first time I reffed my first game, she was the person who ran shadow on with me. She would help me. I would be like, Abby, there's a tournament. There's Peterhouse Sevens. Are you going? Can I come with? And she's like, yeah, let's go. I'll come pick you up and we'll go. So she's been there with me. Even up until now, I'll be like, Abby, I need this. And yeah, Abby will be on it, and she will actually try as much as possible to help me, assist me. Like, Abby, see, I was trying to get visas. Don't worry about it. Let me help you. Let me sort it out.
Oh, that's good.
So
it's good to have somebody like that, isn't it?
She's been like a good pillar, like someone I know I can bank on. Like if I need any help, I can always resort to her. Like the one time I'm like, Abby, we need to sort out my fitness. And she's like, don't worry about it. I know this guy. So yeah, things like that. She's always there helping.
Mudiwa Mundawarara is very proud of you.
He is very, and he mentions it. I remember the first time I actually got the one award I won for Zimbabwe Rugby Referees. I'm like, I'm really proud of you. He's always saying it. And even when I get my appointments, PP, how is it going? You're like, I'm very proud of you. Are you doing well? And
that's important.
Yeah,
isn't
it is important.
To have somebody cheering.
Very, very important. Yes, very important. Yeah. And with working with Mudiwa, he's also been one of all the guys that we've been working with, and he too has also been part of my journey, working with us, going with us to games. We're like, okay, I remember one of my games when I first riffed at Gandhi. I actually went with Mudiwa, and it's like, yeah, you were doing well. You need to work on this, your movement, yeah. And I feel, even up until now, even after the game, you'll be like, I felt like this. And I'm like, yeah. And sometimes I'm like, yeah, I agree with you, Mudiwa. I'm like, sometimes I'm like, oh, Mudiwa, come on. But yeah, you need people like that
you do,
with you.
you?
Exactly, yes, yes.
You are, sport is a very competitive thing, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Are you a competitive person by nature?
Yes, I am. I try to.
You want to win all the time?
So I've always had that mentality that you gotta win all the time. But then as I grew old, I realized it took a lot out of me, especially when I then lost. So sometimes just be in it and enjoy the moment. Like if you win, then it's a plus. But you might want to be aiming to wanting to win all the time, and then you don't win, and then you miss out on having enjoyed that moment you were living in. So I try to tone it down. Like, okay, if you don't win, oh, well, we didn't win, but yeah, geez, that was good. Exactly.
Yeah,
So I try to,
you
yeah,
enjoy the journey.
yeah, I enjoyed the journey. And I always look back and I'm like, did I put my best? I did. So
Are you enjoying the journey?
I am enjoying the journey.
Mm-hmm.
I am enjoying the journey. It's been good so far.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I didn't see myself like when I looked at it when I started. I did not see how I would get to the top, but I just told myself, you know what? It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Let's just keep going. Mostly when I started, it was a lot of Rugby Africa game, and I was greatly involved with Rugby Africa. Still involved with Rugby Africa, but I got a lot of games from Rugby Africa, and I just thought, oh well, it's Rugby Africa. Well, if we don't go beyond rugby, beyond Africa, it's okay. But then the opportunities started coming, and I started getting opportunities to go beyond. Yeah.
Any regrets?
I try not to regret, because then why were you doing it? So I've managed to tell myself that if you do something, don't regret it. Just do it, and if you have something to learn from it, then learn from it. Regretting will only make you miserable, and I feel like life is too short for us to be miserable.
Absolutely.
I just want to enjoy life.
Tell me now, what has sport taught you about life, and yourself in particular? What is?
So sport has taught me that sometimes don't take certain things for granted, like just. If you get an opportunity, maximize on it. You never know where it might take you. Do the most you can, go willingly. Like, if you've got nothing to lose, why not do it? So don't take things for granted. Put your best foot forward in most cases where you can. Hard work pays off, and don't let the other small things bother you. Just be yourself, live in a moment where you enjoy what's going on, and the small little things that could possibly bother you, you can always do away. If no one's dying, or if it's not going to alter your life too much, then you don't have to let it bother you. And it has also taught me that if there's something that you can go and change, then if you can change it, change it. Yeah. If you can't, control the controllables. If you can control the outcome of something, then control it. If you can't control it, then there's nothing you can do. Control what you can control. The other things that are not in your hands, don't stress about it, because you can't control it.
The apart from the rule book, do you read?
So apart from
let's maybe tend to our viewers who are at home and have Precious share with us any books that you read. Again, when Mdiwa was here, Mdiwa says the book is very big, hey? The rule book?
Well, they try to cut it down now so that it's a lot of laws in there. I've got one in my car.
It's called the law book.
It's a law book. So we use laws.
Okay.
Yes. Unlike rules, they're laws. So we use laws.
Laws.
Yes.
Sounds very important, isn't it? Do you read? Do you read books? And are there any books that you want to share with our viewers? You said you read novels?
I read novels. Yeah. Yes, I read novels. I've always enjoyed reading novels and stories. Yeah. One of my favorite authors was Sidney Sheldon. He portrayed women in a different light. He showed that women can actually be great as well.
Any particular book by...
Windmills of the Gods.
Okay.
Windmills of the Gods. I actually liked that one. Like when you're thinking if you want to contain a woman thinking a woman is small, you'd be surprised the potential that most women hold if you give them the opportunity. So especially after reading Windmills of the Gods and The Sands of Time.
Fantastic. Any other book?
I've actually read, I'm not a big fan of biographies and stuff, but I read Sia Kolisi's biography. And that was something to like...
South African rugby captain.
The South African rugby captain. And it was something to look at. And when you read his stories and you look at sometimes like the poor South Africans and the way we have poor Zimbabweans, the way you grew up, it's kind of more or less the same, the setup in Black society, South Africa and Black society, Zimbabwe. So I'm like, oh, okay, this is something that is inspiring. Like he seized every opportunity he had. Sometimes it was shaky, like sometimes he didn't know if it was going to happen, but then he just kept on going, and in some cases it worked out before he knew it, or in some cases he had other people helping him, so it works out, and it actually did work out from him. So yeah, reading that, and then him coming from the bare minimum to being a World Cup winner, that is amazing.
Amazing, isn't it?
Yes, very amazing.
Any other book at all?
No, just those. Yeah.
That's great.
Yes.
Precious, it's been a delight talking to you. And I say this with the seriousness that it deserves, which is that you are a national treasure. We are rooting for you and hoping that you get that opportunity to go and referee at the World Rugby International game. When is the next international rugby game? World Cup.
Next World Cup is next year, 2025.
So do you think you might make it for that one?
I'm hoping I make it. I'm hoping I make it.
Which month next year?
It's in about 17 months.
17 months time.
Yeah.
Right. So we pray that happens. So we're rooting for you, girl. We're proud of what you've been able to achieve so far. You make us proud. You are a role model to a lot of young people, both boys and girls. So keep doing what you're doing. Keep putting the time that you're putting to be as successful as you've been. Yeah.
Thank you.
Wish you all the best. Thank you so much. Wonderful. Allow me to tend to our viewers, Precious, who are all over the world, who follow us on a weekly basis. Remember, we are out on Mondays, 7 a.m. Central African time. To ensure that you don't miss out on any of these quality conversations, I invite you to click on the subscribe button. When you subscribe, you'll get a notification every time we have an episode out. We also have gone a step further and put all our content on our website. Go there, binge if you want to binge. We also have podcasts for your listening pleasure. Remember to subscribe, remember to like, remember to share. Until next time, cheers to you all.